Chapter 1. The Heavy Quiet. My name is Sawyer. I want to tell you a story. It is a story about a big decision. I made this decision 10 years ago. It was the worst decision of my life. It started with a phone call. The phone rang in my quiet apartment. A police officer was on the phone. His voice was very serious. He said, "There was a car accident. Your sister Jessica is dead. Her husband Michael is dead too." The world stopped. I could not breathe. I was alone in the world. Then I remembered. I asked, "What about their daughter? What about Lily?" The officer said, "She is in the hospital. She is not hurt. She is 5 years old. She has no one now. She needs you." I went to the hospital. I saw a small girl in a white room. She sat on a big chair. Her feet did not touch the floor. She held an old toy rabbit. She did not look at me. She did not say a word. I said, "Hello, Lily. I am your Uncle Sawyer." She did not answer. Her eyes were empty. I took her home. My home was always quiet. Now the quiet was different. It was a heavy, sad quiet. It was a loud quiet. I was a single man. I knew nothing about children. I was an angry man. My life was work and television. Now this silent child was in my living room. She was like a ghost. She did not speak. She did not play. She only stared at the wall. Days turned into weeks. Lily never made a sound. She ate the food I made. She slept in the bed I gave her, but she was not really there. Her mind was somewhere else. I was failing her. I was so tired. I was so angry. I made my decision. I said it out loud in the dark kitchen. I said, "This is not her home. I am not a good father. She needs to live somewhere else." I decided to take her to the children's home. It was a place for children without families. I told myself it was better for her. I told myself they could fix her. I could not fix her. Chapter 2. The Old Toy. The next morning, I put a small bag on Lily's bed. I opened it. I began to put her clothes inside. I did not look at her face. I was a coward. Lily stood by the window. She looked at the park. Families played in the park. Children laughed. Parents smiled. The sun was bright. I folded a small blue dress. My hands were not steady. I felt sick in my stomach. Suddenly, Lily turned from the window. She ran to her bed. She pushed her small hand under the pillow. She pulled out an old toy rabbit. The toy was very old and broken. It was her mother's toy from many years ago. She held the toy against her chest. She held it very tight. She looked at me. Her eyes were dry, but her whole body shook with fear. I stopped packing the bag. The bag was only half full. I looked at her small shaking hands. I looked at the old toy. I remembered my sister. Jessica loved that toy. She slept with it every night. My plan felt cold. It felt wrong. But I was a practical man. I spoke to her in a hard voice. I said, "You are going to a new home today. This is not your place. I am not your parent. You will live with other children there." Lily did not move. She did not make a sound. She just held the toy tighter. I pointed to the bag. I said, "We will leave in 1 hour. Be ready." I left her room. I closed the door. I stood in the quiet hallway. I listened. I heard nothing, no crying, no sound, just that terrible heavy silence. Chapter 3. The Silent Tears. I could not sleep that night. I lay in my dark room. I thought about my decision. I felt a deep shame. I was a monster. My sister gave me her daughter. I was sending her away. I got out of my bed. I walked to Lily's door. I opened it slowly. A small light was on. Lily was asleep, but her face was not calm. She was crying in her sleep, but it was a silent cry. No sound came from her mouth. Tears fell from her closed eyes. Her face was full of pain. Her body shook with quiet sobs. She lost her voice with her parents. I stood there for many minutes. I watched her silent pain. My heart was a stone in my chest. Then an old memory came to me. I was a teenager. Our mother died. Jessica was a young girl. She did not cry at the funeral. She did not cry for many days. Then, one night, I heard a noise. I went to her room. She was in her bed crying, just like Lily, a silent river of tears. She held that same old toy rabbit. I did not help her then. I just closed the door. I walked away. I was a boy. I was afraid too. Now I was a man. History was the same. But this was Jessica's child. I was making the same mistake again. I was leaving her alone. Chapter 4. A Small Smile. In the morning I went into Lily's room. The small bag was still by the door. I picked it up. I opened it. I took all the clothes out. I put them back in the closet. Lily watched me from her bed. She did not understand. She still held the old toy. I did not say anything. I left the room. I picked up the telephone. A woman answered. It was the woman from the children's home. The woman said, "Hello, Mr. Evans. We are ready for your arrival." I took a deep breath. My voice was clear and strong. I said, "I changed my mind. She is not coming. She is staying with me. This is her home." I put the phone down. I felt weak. I felt scared, But I felt one new thing. I felt hope. I went back to Lily's room. I sat on the floor. I had a needle and some thread. I pointed to the toy rabbit in her hands. I said, "This toy is broken. Can I fix it for you?" Lily looked at the toy. She looked at my hands. Slowly, she gave me the rabbit. Her hands were careful. I began to sew the torn ear. I am not good at sewing. My work was messy, but I tried very hard. Lily watched my hands. She moved closer to me on the floor. She sat next to me. She did not speak, but she was present. Weeks passed. We did not talk with words, but we did things together. We cooked simple meals. We watched cartoons. We walked in the park. One evening we watched a funny cartoon. A dog chased a ball. The dog fell into some water. Then I saw a new thing. I looked at Lily. Her mouth was open. A small, silent laugh shook her shoulders. It was not a loud laugh, but it was a real laugh. Her eyes were bright for the first time. My eyes filled with water. I did not let the tears fall. I just smiled at her. She looked at me and smiled back. It was a very small smile, but it was a beginning. Lily did not speak for a long time. But I learned her language. I learned the language of her silence. I learned her small smiles. I learned the meaning in her eyes. She became my voice. She became my voice for all the things my sister could never say. She became my reason to be a better man. I was not her father, but I was her Uncle Sawyer, and that was enough.